Boomer Sooner.
Upended balls loose, lay it around, picked up on the run. Cannick, he's to the 10, he's to the 5, touchdown!
Live at Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue. Welcome to the OU Huddle on the Sooner Sports Network from Learfield. Presented by Air Comfort Solutions, your total home solution for plumbing, heating, air conditioning, and electrical. Make the winning call today. Also brought to you by Riverwind Casino. Good times, great rewards. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. And by Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, bringing you the best in real Texas barbecue. Now, here's the voice of the Sooners, Toby Rowland.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Rudy's on a Monday night. That Jared Cannick play seems like 3 seasons ago that we have in the Open. A lot has happened since that Jared Cannick play this year. Welcome to Rudy's, everyone. We got 2 hours of Sooner talk in front of you. Head coach Brent Venables and Teddy Lehman will be alongside next hour. This first hour, we call it the Huddle. And joining me to co-host tonight, please make welcome Gabe Eichert and Josh Norman. Everybody. How we doing, guys? How we doing, Josh?
Doing great.
Doing good? Doing good? Nice crowd. I don't know if it's possible. Can we take the overhead shot and show my man Drake down here? Right down front. Wave at everybody, Drake. Drake's here every week. He's our producer. He's our engineer on the Sooner Radio Network. He also changed a tire at about midnight Saturday on I-40 on our way back home from Ole Miss. He doesn't look real big, but he can get the job done.
Man give it up for
do
Drake.
It all. Drake Eichert.
Boy, Drake.
We were stranded. Drake saved us. So, well, we got a football game to talk about. Ole Miss defeats the Sooners 26-14 down in Oxford on Saturday. Coming up this week, the last non-conference tilt. We got an afternoon, an old-fashioned 1:30 kickoff on Owen Field as the Sooners for the first time will take on the Maine Black Bears. But let's start this opening segment brought to us by Community Coffee, family-owned Community Coffee, the official brewed coffee of OU Athletics. Taste the difference family makes. Let's start with talking about the offense. And obviously the headline was new coordinator, or calling the plays now, Joe John Finley. Kevin Johns moves in to be co-coordinator and quarterbacks coach. How'd you feel like things went for those guys Saturday, Gabe?
I thought, especially in the first half, it looked good. I mean, the efficiency was good. I thought the offensive line in that first half was playing at a high level. I thought that they had the most energy that they had pretty much all season, especially when you consider the level of competition they were playing in with that Ole Miss defensive front. I liked a lot of what I saw, especially in the run game. A lot of variations of the counterplay, a lot of variations of the inside zone concept with split zone and zone insert, some RPO stuff built off of those concepts. It all seemed to kind of fit together better, in my opinion. And when they were converting on third downs like they were in the first half, and certainly some penalties from Ole Miss helped on a couple of those drives, but when they were converting and finding that rhythm, it looked really good, and I thought Jackson Arnold looked awfully comfortable on those scoring drives. So I know the game didn't go the way that the Sooners wanted. I know that the offense was not able to find that rhythm in the second half, especially in that third quarter, but that Ole Miss defense has been very good up to this point in the season, and I thought that when you look at that first half, there's some good things to take away from it for the offense.
The question, Josh, was how much can you change in a week's time? Turns out they implemented quite a bit of new stuff for this game.
Yeah, man, I think, the system is the system, so you can't change calls and stuff like that, but you can implement new plays and things that you think will fit better. And to Gabe's point, I thought we did a great job of being in rhythm. I thought we did a great job of running the ball, which we always have to do. It makes things so much easier on the quarterback, especially a young quarterback. And so I thought we did a great job on doing those things. We had some injuries, had some guys that needed to step up that struggled. And I think that's, ultimately in the third quarter and the fourth quarter, that's what we saw.
Jackson Arnold composed, looked under control in the first half. Best all-around game he's played, Gabe, this year?
Yeah, I thought he played well. The thing I'll say about Jackson is I love the toughness that he displayed. There's quite a bit of QB run game in the plan, and he's taking it in between the tackles and some of these QB gap scheme runs, and that's not easy. And I thought that he handled those situations really well. Still would like to see him get the ball out of his hand a little quicker in some of the passing concepts, but he made some fantastic individual plays. Just thinking about the touchdown to Jacob Jordan, I mean, what an individual effort from Jackson Arnold to get out of trouble and to keep his eyes down the field on the move and find Jacob Jordan in the end zone. Jackson did some really, really good things. You could see some of the flashes of what he can be, Josh.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me was that I think it boils down to the scheme and how they coached him up this week. But if you notice, like, he was getting all the way down to his check down. So he was getting through his entire progression and being able to get all the way down to his check down, which is a huge deal. You know, early in the season, he was really just, if that first guy in there, he's going to drop his head, he's going to try and scramble and make a play from there. But him going, you know, all the way from left all the way to right all the way to left in his progression shows that, you know, they're doing some different things schematically. They're coaching him up differently, and he's able to have a lot of success. And I thought he did a great job when things weren't there, making plays in the run game with his feet. I mean, what did he rush for? Over 100 yards that he rushed for?
Yeah, they take the sacks off in college football, but yeah, he ran for like 103 yards.
Yeah, and so you know, I think that shows a lot with him, and I think it shows us that we have a lot to look forward to in the future.
You know, one thing you have to go through your progressions?
Time.
Fact.
Yeah.
No question.
And that's the frustrating thing for me, because you look at the end product and how everyone's talking about Oklahoma's offensive line, and there was a lot of good stuff early, especially in that first half. A lot of good stuff, a lot of snaps that the guys in that room should be very, very proud about. And unfortunately, and I went and charted it because I'm weird and that's what I do. Because I don't consider called runs and a quarterback getting tackled behind the line of scrimmage, I do not consider that a sack. It's not a sack in my world.
Yeah, the Bauer Sharp double pass was considered
it's a sack. That's not a sack.
It's not a sack.
It's stupid. But I had them down for 6 sacks.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Still way too many. No question.
Still too many. And I'm not trying to say that OU's offensive line was some dominant group against Ole Miss. I'm not saying that. 5
of the 6 came in the last 2 drives of the game, I think.
Yes. 5 of the 6 came in the last 10 plays of the game.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
And so there was a large portion of this football game where I thought the offensive line played together at the highest level we've seen them play at, especially when you consider some of the guys that are in that core for Ole Miss's defense. You've got NFL players. You've got a lot of NFL players in the core of that Ole Miss defense. And I was really proud of the way that those guys played in the first half. And unfortunately, Jacob Sexton goes down. They have to shuffle some of the pieces, and it just did not come together when they had to do that. But really, when you look at the second half, the first 4 possessions of the second half, 3 of them, you're in third and very manageable, and you don't convert. And I thought that was the big difference between the rhythm that we saw the offense in the first half and the second half. Just couldn't get it done on third down.
It was a tale of 2 halves for sure. First half, let's stick with that for just a second. On the positive side, Ole Miss giving up less than 67 yards a game on the ground. That leads the SEC. I think it leads the country going into that game. And OU ran for 147. Would have been a lot more if not minus the sack yardage. But still, Javonte Barnes and the offensive line, as he talked about, that Javonte was making people miss. He was running through tackles. That's about as good as we've seen out of him too, Josh.
No question. And to Gabe's point, I think our offensive line did a phenomenal job for the majority of the game, especially early in the game. What I saw is that third quarter, obviously we know that was an atrocious quarter for us. And part of that is we could never get in the rhythm because we had drop balls. We had penalties. Like
false start that takes you from 3rd and 3 to 3rd and 8.
And just like we saw against South Carolina, if we get into just a straight pass rush situation, it's hard for us to handle those situations well. And so, you know, our guys, everybody playing together, doing their job, making the plays that they need to make when it's their time to make the play, keeps us out of those positions and keeps us going.
I thought it was the best game of Javonte Barnes' OU career.
Yeah, I agree.
He
caught the ball well, too.
Caught the ball well. Credit to Jackson Arnold for taking those completions. Some young quarterbacks don't do it, and he did it and got Javonte the ball in space and allowed him to go make plays. But that is the fastest and most decisive I've ever seen Javonte Barnes.
Yeah, it helps
pouring it
helps
downhill.
when you can get past the first level.
There's no doubt about it.
Once you can break that line of scrimmage, it you know, he starts to build confidence early, and it just helps him out a lot. But yeah, he was able to make people miss on that second level. Got to be able to make a miss on the third level so he can, you know, hit some bigger home runs. But yeah, he ran tough like he always does. He was, you know, running explosive, making guys miss and doing well and, you know, catching the ball. And so yeah, I thought he did a phenomenal job this game. And I think he would have had over 100 had it not been for What did he
had
rush for?
16 for 67.
67.
Well,
It's over for a carry against
if you
that
add in his
defense.
receiving yards, though, he was over 100
Yep.
total yards. There was a couple of empty trips into the red zone, too, that cost the Sooners on Saturday. Opening drive of the game, they take it down to the 2-yard line, decide to go for it on 4th down and come up empty. Fourth quarter, they get the ball on the 2-yard line, drive it all the way down inside the 15, and then some negative plays and penalties backed them up and came up empty there as well. Not excuses, just facts that they drove the ball well, Gabe. They moved the ball on several occasions. Third quarter is the exception. But 10-plus play drives, and that's a positive sign for sure.
It absolutely is. And
really good drives.
They had some really good drives, but Josh, they have to find some explosive plays in the passing game to just make their lives easier.
Yep.
It is very difficult to go on 8-play, 10-play, 12-play drives against some of these SEC defenses.
Spot on.
It's just really hard to execute
like
at that
to mix
level.
in a 2-play drive once in a while.
Yes.
Yeah.
No question.
It would be great to hit Brennan Thompson or J.J. Hester or whoever, Jacob Jordan.
We had a conversation on the show one time, is OU scoring too fast? Do you remember that? The defense doesn't have time to rest.
I yearn for those days to return.
That was a real conversation we had on the show.
It makes it really, really difficult to play offense at a high level if you don't have those explosive plays in the passing game. And there's a lot of things that have to come together, right? Every guy on the field has to do their part to create those explosive plays.
Absolutely.
But Jackson Arnold's capable of it.
No question.
Pushing
I think
he
just has to get his eyes in the right place, and I think they're doing a great job of coaching him up and getting his eyes in the right place. But I mean, even at that, I think it's still encouraging that we had multiple drives, like long, sustainable drives, and we just got to finish. Man, we've got to finish. Those explosive plays will help, no doubt about it. But man, we got to just finish when we get into the red zone. We can't have the penalties that take us back out of and put us in a 4th and 18 or 4th and something crazy long. And then, you know, again, the first drive, the opening drive, we're right there and we have a drop. Should have been a touchdown again. And so we like Gabe said, everybody has to do their part. When their time comes, they have to be able to execute and finish.
You also have to continue to protect the football. Right, you had the Taylor Tatum fumble. J.J. Hester makes a tremendous individual effort, goes and gets it back, and then you have what appeared to be a reverse kind of go awry.
Very next play.
And you give it right back. Yeah. Those are such unfortunate swings in these football games. And with where this team is at right now, you can't afford to have those types of critical errors in a game and expect to beat these teams that are left on the schedule. So there was a lot to like. There was a lot to like from Oklahoma's offense. Now, is it anywhere close to what the expectation is around here? No, it's not. But I do think I'm excited to see him play on Saturday.
There's a little hope that came out of that.
I don't care. I don't care who the opponent is. I'm excited to see the guys on offense.
We want to be putting 50 points on the board every game. No question about it.
That would be awesome.
based on what we've seen up to this point, the fact that we can see growth and we can see improvement, I think we've got to lean on that. We've got to build on that, and shoot, it was his first game calling it. He'll get better this week. He'll make adjustments. He'll be able to make better calls under certain situations, and we'll be better this week. Jackson will be better. He's it's his first time working with this set of calls, and he'll be better. Everybody will be better across the board. No doubt about it.
All right, let's talk about the defense when we come back. The Huddle is underway here at Rudy's on a Monday night. Stay with us.
The Huddle is brought to you by Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, bringing you the best in real Texas barbecue. Walden Cleaners and Laundry, where the difference is quality. Riverwind Casino, good times, great rewards. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy.
Dart goes under center with Pegues deep. Snap. Fake pitch. They come to the near side. That's Wells. He's met in the backfield. Spins away. Goes forward. He didn't get there. He didn't get there. They turn him over on downs.
All right, welcome back. Defense, kind of the same story. 26-14, Ole Miss wins it on Saturday. Really good first half. Some regrettable things perhaps in the second half. At the top of the what did they do good list, they held Ole Miss to just 69 yards rushing on the day. That's a season low, which I think made your hot take a winner last week. You said 140 yards or less, and it was way under that. Good job.
Dominant. That defensive line.
Yeah.
Across the board, just whoopings across the board when Ole Miss was trying to run the football. Josh, that was, I know, we'd like to see him get more of a pass rush consistently, sure, but the number one objective for a defense is to stop the run, and, man, they were excellent when it came to stopping the run last Saturday. That was a lot of fun to watch.
No question, man. They've just been doing what they've been doing all year, playing great up front, stopping the run, like you said, man, it's fun to watch them when they're playing at that level, man. We just got to eliminate the big plays. That's what got us this week.
Yeah, that would. If you're gonna say what's on the list of things that need to be done better, that's it. The Jackson Dart got the passing game going in the second half. Hit him for some big plays in that pivotal third quarter. Josh.
Yeah, man, that was. Oh man, gosh.
You're
it's
right?
tough. Yeah. I'm hanging in there, man. I just started going back through those moments, man, and just those critical moments, man, that we had them where we wanted them and let them out, man. And it's hard to watch, man. But like I said, we've got to eliminate the big plays. It's going to be hard for any team to, as we talked about our offense, to sustain long, multiple play drives, 10, 12 play drives against this defense. And so when we're giving up big plays, man, we're just giving them points. And so if we can just eliminate those big plays, and I said it at the beginning of the year, teams might be able to get 2 big plays against us, but when they start getting the 4, 5, 6 big plays, I think they had 11 explosive plays this last week. It's just really hard to beat a team when we're having the struggles we are on offense, and we just can't, we don't have the firepower to just go to bat with somebody. And so we've just got to eliminate the big plays, man, on defense. And I think we're playing consistently good ball. It's just those big plays.
Yeah, I think they're playing really well. I think we have a different barometer for them because of how low we know they need to hold the opponent for OU to score enough points. The reality is Ole Miss averages over 41 points a game. They hold them to 26. They average way over 500 yards a game. They hold them a couple of hundred yards below that. For how they did against this Ole Miss offense, the defense did pretty dadgum good.
No question.
The one issue that I would have is that's 2 straight weeks the defense has not come up with a turnover. And if they're going to win some of these SEC games, they're going to have to help the offense out. So they're going to have to get back to taking the ball away.
Well, I disagree with that notion because they had 2 fourth down stops.
we did.
Fair
I
point.
consider
point.
stops on fourth down. I consider those turnovers. They call it turnover on down.
Statistically, it isn't, but yeah, you make a good point.
So that's where I look at those, and I know that Zach Alley and Britt Venables and the guys on that defense, the leaders of that defense, bring it up constantly. Hey, we got to force more turnovers. Let's be real. They did their job. They played well enough to win the football game, and I feel like we've said that about them pretty much every week this season. I know that we want this group to be absolutely elite and to be shutting teams out, but that's just unrealistic in how college football works these days with how the rules favor the offense in some of these things. That the defense, I thought that they played another winning game on their when it comes to handling their job.
This
I'd
is
agree.
a Lane Kiffin high-powered offense.
Yeah, I'd say as far as the turnovers go, like, truth is the other team watch film as well, and so they're probably saying, hey, if we could just eliminate the turnovers in the game, and I think that's why a lot of teams are committed to the run. They're not really forcing the ball downfield a lot. They're doing a lot of perimeter stuff, and when they do take their shots, it's pretty much a 50-50 ball, and so like that. But when we have our opportunities, at the point of attack, when we're making tackles, we've got to be able to try to get the ball out, and not just in critical times in the fourth quarter when we need to try to get it back to win the game. We need to have that mentality throughout the game. We're not getting a lot of those opportunities in the pass game. They're just not throwing the ball around and throwing it up like that for us to get interceptions. So we have to create it on ball carriers and get fumbles.
Any concern, Gabe, about the secondary?
I think there is. They have to figure out the situations where there's guys just running free. And there was only a handful of them, but with how the offense is struggling, you can't give those you can't hand them those plays.
Jackson Dart made them pay.
Getting double moved, with the stutter and go and trying to break on the football and a guy running by, okay, those things will happen every once in a while. Trying to make a competitive play on the football, the other guy comes down with it. Those things happen. What can't happen is, hey, we're supposed to be in cover 2 and there's not a safety over the top. That can't happen.
No,
that can't happen.
That's the worst thing
You
that can happen.
You can't have tight ends running over routes across the field wide open. You can't have those. Wherever those breakdowns are taking place, they have to fix those things. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that's too much to ask. The other stuff, hey, other teams are going to make competitive plays. Playing against a lot of talented players in the SEC. But the miscommunication, whether that's the call getting in too late, the guy's not relaying the call, the backer's not talking to the secondary, whatever it is, you have to get that figured out, because you still have a couple of very high-powered offenses with insane skill talent left on the schedule.
Did you see the squirrel on the field?
I
Josh,
did.
On the sideline?
Yeah, I thought it was an early representation of us getting a pick 6. That's what I called on the sideline.
Oh, yeah?
Because he was running in the direction that our defense would have been to get a pick 6.
You thought it was an omen of something.
That's what I thought it was, but it turned out
it didn't turn out that
wasn't
way.
what it was.
No, it didn't. Wasn't that?
It wasn't that.
Wasn't that at all.
But it was cool to see a squirrel.
Your call on the radio broadcast of the squirrel
I hadn't heard
scoring,
it, Toby.
We had some fun.
I was sad after the game on the plane coming home, and then I started just chuckling to myself thinking of you doing that, it made me happy.
He laid down at one point, and I think we both accused him of faking an injury at that point. So
it was just a replay on downs. That's all it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You never know, but he was fine. He got up and he was fine.
Speaking of, yeah.
Yeah. We'll take a break. When we come back, the opponent next up for the Sooners is a first-time opponent, the Maine Black Bears. What do we know about these guys from the Great Northeast? We'll let you know next here at Rudy's. Stay with us.
Log on to Soonersports.com/kids for information about joining the Sooner Junior Kids Club, presented by OG&E. And brought to you in part by Orthodontics exclusively, Mathis Home, and Devon Energy.
OU's 2024 football games are available on Éxitos 96.5 FM in Oklahoma City and 101.5 FM El Patron in Tulsa, as well as on those stations' websites. Each OU Spanish broadcast will feature a 30-minute pregame show and a 15-minute postgame show. The best place to gear up for game day is shop.soonersports.com.
Arnold awaits the football. They need 5 yards. Jacob Jordan in motion. There's the snap. Arnold looking right. Holding. Now he wants to run. Now he throws late. End zone. Bowers sharp wide open. Touchdown. Touchdown Oklahoma. A touch pass from Jackson Arnold to Bowers sharp on the back line of the end zone.
Wow, that was fun. Coming up next for the Sooners, back home on Saturday afternoon, 1:30 kickoff against the Maine Black Bears, the last non-conference matchup of the year. And Riverwind Casino takes us behind enemy lines now. Riverwind Casino, good times, great rewards. There's a little bit about Maine, 4-4 so far on the year, coming off a loss at Rhode Island on Saturday. They've got a couple of FCS top 25 wins this season, including over Villanova a couple of weeks ago. Teddy, sorry, that's next hour. Gabe, Brahms Ice Cream and Dairy Store wants to know the scoop. Farm fresh for over 50 years. What's the scoop on Maine?
We're a much better football team than they are.
Okay.
But it
feels good hearing you say that.
It is, looking at them defensively, a lot of things that we've seen from a lot of different teams. 4-2-5 defense. They can play even spacing and odd spacing. They bring quite a bit of edge pressure compared to other teams, so they're going to test. I've watched a lot of Maine, by the way.
I'm impressed you found.
What else would I do?
How hard was it to find a lot of microphones?
Just don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
How hard was it to find Maine highlights out there?
I've got people.
Okay.
I've got people. But it was. Now I think that it's really, this week's really all about Oklahoma. Yeah. What are your core concepts going to be the rest of the year? I do think, and I know you take it 1 week at a time, but I think you got to look at the other teams that you're playing the rest of the way, right, with Missouri and Bama and LSU, and start thinking about, okay, what concepts do we need to implement and do we need to execute at a high level against those teams? Let's work on those as we prepare for Maine against Maine's defense. And then kind of defensively for Oklahoma, just keep doing what you've been doing.
Yeah.
You got to cover Montego Moss, though.
Yeah, nice wide receiver, Montego Moss.
He's got 24 more catches than any other guy.
He's the go-to receiver, yeah.
Montego.
Quarterback Carter Peavy completing 70% of his passes on the year, 11 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Their head coach is only 35 years old, Jordan Stevens, and their mascot's name is Bananas T. Bear. And that's the end of my knowledge of Maine so far.
I played with a guy named Matthew Mulligan in 2 different spots. We played together in Detroit and in Buffalo, and he went to Maine.
Okay.
So I actually know, I know a Maine
You
black
got a hookup.
bear. He was crazy, too. Like the strongest guy I have ever known. Just up there in Maine lifting weights constantly.
That's impressive. Taco Mayo wants to know what's on the menu. Big appetite, bigger savings. Download and save today. So, Josh, what's important for OU this week in this matchup?
On the offensive side of the ball, we have to continue to establish our run game. We have to be dominant up front. We have to be able to run the ball in all situations. Again, that's always going to help our young quarterback be able to do what he can do. But then also on top of that, man, we've got to hit some big shots down the field. I think we're doing a great job of moving Jackson around out of the, moving the pocket with him, putting him in very good situations. But now Jackson has to take that next step. He has to be able to see those routes down the field. He has to be able to deliver the ball and get it to him.
Looking at Maine plays their corners way off.
Okay.
I think they're willing to give you the underneath stuff, and I would like to see, if they're going to play that far off, sure would I like to see our guys run by them and connect on some of those. Absolutely. But if that's the way that they're going to play, then I would like to see Jackson Arnold and this wide receiver corps work on those timing routes. Deep comebacks, your curls, your deep out routes, some of these things that you throw on the practice field, but hey, it's a little different going out there and throwing it on game day. And if they're going to play way, way off, let's see Jackson Arnold drive the ball down the field on some of those deeper timing routes and just work on that chemistry, work on that rhythm, build confidence with some of those concepts.
Yeah, I agree. Again, it's about efficiency in the pass game, taking your shots when you have the opportunity. But I think it's going to come down to what we're doing on the front line and if we're able to move the ball. Like you said, if they bring a lot of edge pressure, we're going to have to control that. The best way to control that is by putting ourselves in manageable situations. The best way to put ourselves in manageable situations is by running the ball effectively. I know, I sound like a broken record, but it's really just it's a simple concept to get the job done.
A lot of clamoring because the season's gone the way it has to let's see the young guys. We want to throw the freshmen out there, see what they look like.
Well,
maybe,
we got it.
Maybe an opportunity in this game to see some of the young guys we haven't seen much of this year.
I'd be really disappointed if we don't.
Who?
Eddie Pierre-Louis, Eugene Brooks, some of the offensive linemen, Isaiah Autry-Dent. We had played a lot of freshmen.
Yeah.
Maybe a little more Michael Boganowski, Hardy, some of those guys we've seen a little bit of on the back end.
Boganowski.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that'd be fun.
You'd like to see a collision between a Boganowski and a black bear on Saturday.
In a perfect world,
I'm putting my money on Bogue.
You play really efficiently on both sides of the ball in the first half, and you get some of those guys in the game. You get them some real time. There is nothing that can replace game reps.
Yeah.
Just the feeling, the anxiety, going out there and having to perform when the lights are on. Everyone's watching. You get used to that feeling the more that you do it. And it would be nice in the third and in the fourth quarter if we could get some of these young guys on both sides of the ball some significant snaps. It'd be fun. I want to watch.
I'd love to see that, but I don't want to put the cart before the horse.
I got you. I'm just saying, hopefully that could happen.
Those guys dominate. Sure, have at it. But I want to see us dominate. We should dominate this game, and that's what I want to see.
It's Monday. A long time between now and Saturday, but
bro, if we don't dominate Maine, we got problems.
Right now,
no question.
Right now, there's an 85% chance of rain on Saturday.
It's gonna be okay.
We should.
Thunderstorms in the mix. I'm trying to do a show over here while you guys are talking.
Sorry, Toby, my bad.
85% chance of rain and thunderstorms on Saturday. It's still 5 days away, so things could change. But
it is Oklahoma.
We haven't had one of those games yet this year, so just, be ready. Could be one of those games.
So if it is, even more to my point, we've got to be able to run the ball in that situation.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, you start throwing the ball around, when it's wet, it just causes more issues. So we've got to be able to run the ball. And then on the defensive side, I think that puts us in a great position because we'll be able to dominate up front.
I just feel for the centers this week. You know what this means? This means during practice, they get out this bucket, like a paint bucket.
Right.
Big Home Depot, wherever, Lowe's, I don't know who our sponsor is, whichever one.
Practice snapping wet footballs all week.
They dip it in water, and then they make you snap it all week long.
Yeah.
Fun time.
What a hard life it is, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. We'll take a break. We're going to find out what this guy's beef is next. Plus, we'll take a look around the rest of college football. You're watching The Huddle here at Rudy's.
We want to thank all of our Sooner Radio Network affiliates across the state and region. Fans can check out Soonersports.com for an affiliate in your area. And if you're traveling outside the state of Oklahoma, you can listen to all the action on either SiriusXM Radio or download the Varsity Network app and listen free. Taco Mayo. Big appetite, bigger savings. Download and save today. Air Comfort Solutions, your total home solution for plumbing, heating, air conditioning, and electrical. Make the winning call today.
Shotgun snap. Arnold to throw. Looks right, under pressure. Got away. Now he squirts out to the right. Still scrambling. Throws. End zone. Caught! Touchdown! Jacob Jordan! Frosty got him!
First career touchdown for Jacob Jordan. was my bold prediction last week.
Look
so
at us.
we both hit this week. Yeah, he's fun. That's 2 games in a row, 88. A lot of fun. We didn't know this guy 3 weeks ago, Josh. And now,
I did.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I knew him.
Why didn't you tell us about him sooner?
I don't know, man.
Maybe push him on the field or something.
Right?
Yeah.
No, Jacob, man, he's one of those guys. He just every time you see him, he has this like little smile on his face. Just a great kid, and so I'm super happy that he's having so much success. And honestly, to us on the inside, it's not a surprise. I mean, he does this these things in practice all the time. So glad to see him get his opportunity and him making the most of it.
It's time for Didier Ranch's What's Your Beef? Didier Ranch's premium ranch-raised beef can be shipped anywhere in the continental U.S. Visit DidierRanch.com. That's DIDIER Ranch.com to order. Didier Ranch, tradition tastes better. Gabe, what's your beef this week?
I don't know if it's a beef, but there are a lot of people out there, I think including myself, and I don't know about you guys, but we owe Deion Sanders an apology.
He's got a good squad.
They're playing well.
6-2.
Yep.
4-1 in Big 12 play, and all of a sudden you look at the rest of their schedule.
Yeah.
They got 4 games left.
They got a chance to be a playoff team.
Oh, boy.
Absolutely.
How about that?
I mean, every team they have, they'll be favored in all 4 of their games the rest of the way. They've got arguably the best quarterback in the country. I don't know if you guys have watched Shadur Sanders.
I've said it the last 2 years.
He is fun to watch, and he can
player.
sling it, and Travis Hunter is the best player in college football. And the most important thing, they've had all this exposure. You know, they've done a lot of talking and all this stuff, but if you win games, you can do what you want.
Yeah.
And those guys, hey, they're winning football games. They're extremely entertaining to watch. That place is sold out every game and rocking.
I find it interesting that now that they are winning, there's not as much.
It feels like
antics.
there's less.
Like, yeah, it's like there's not all the Showtime stuff, you know?
Yeah.
They got a lot of attention last year, and the end of the season did not go well for them. But credit to those guys, that staff, those players. They're putting together a heck of a season.
They are.
So to be clear, your beef is with
I don't know.
America.
It's almost with myself.
With yourself? Okay, that's fair. I think we have a double beef tonight.
Yeah, I got beef. I got beef with Tyreek Stevenson, the starting cornerback with the Chicago Bears, who on the last play of the game last night, he's taunting the crowd while the play is going on, and they end up getting the Hail Mary. They win the game. The
Off
Commanders.
his hands.
Yeah.
He's the one that bats it up in the air, too.
Like, bro,
Knock it down.
Get in the game.
Yeah.
Like, anything can happen in the NFL. Everybody knows
It just
that.
did.
And
Yep.
it did,
Yep.
right? It's like, get in the game.
I've
But
never
he's,
seen
like,
that.
Crazy enough, the fans are telling him, hey, the play is going.
Yeah.
Go.
Ball's coming your way. That's a good one.
That's my beef. So
I like it. Here's a
the
look at
game.
what
Gotta
happened
lock in.
this week in college
Gotta lock
football.
in.
Texas A&M, a big second half to rally to beat LSU.
They look good.
Ohio State squeaks by Nebraska. Texas also gets by Vandy barely. And Alabama shuts out Missouri. The Tigers struggling a bit. What grabs your eye on this scoreboard here, Gabe?
Marcel Reed.
Yeah.
A&M backup quarterback.
The way that game flipped, you know, LSU started turning it over like crazy, and then LSU's defense could not figure out the QB run stuff with Marcel Reed. That thing flipped so quickly.
Yeah.
It was wild to watch. That was impressive stuff from A&M.
You know, I know the talking point is Marcel Reed because he looked really good, but I think the bigger thing is like whatever halftime adjustments Eckel made for them to come out that second half and just completely shut down LSU. That was just as impressive as Marcel Reed, and Marcel Reed was extremely impressive throwing the ball and running the ball. I mean, they look really good with him.
A&M, the only unbeaten team left in conference play, unbeaten in conference play team left in the SEC. Matchups this week to keep an eye on: Ohio State at Penn State, big one in the Big Ten. Big Ten is fascinating right now. Pitt at SMU, those are 2 undefeated teams in the ACC, and Texas A&M at South Carolina. We'll see whether or not Shane Beamer can hang the Aggies their first loss on Saturday.
I think I have this right. Miami, Clemson, SMU,
Pitt.
all undefeated.
Yep.
I don't think Miami
Conference play,
plays. Does Miami play any of those teams?
I don't know the answer to that.
I don't think they do. It's kind of wild.
That is wild. There is a possibility in the Big Ten that you could have 3 teams go undefeated and not play each other.
Wow.
In fact, there's a possibility there's a scenario where Oregon finishes the season undefeated, ranked number 1 in the nation, and doesn't qualify for the Big Ten championship game. That's possible.
How?
Because there's 2 other undefeated teams that would win the tiebreaker. I can't break that down for you. But
you don't know how the tiebreaker happens?
it is a scenario, yeah. I have a hard enough time keeping my own life straight. I'm not worried about the Big Ten tiebreaker right now.
You're trying to call squirrel scoring and all of that.
That's right,
man.
yeah. Yeah, there's a lot going on in my world. So anyway, we'll take a break.
Who do you like in Penn State, Ohio State?
The game's in Happy Valley, right?
Yes.
I'll take Penn State.
I'm taking Penn State.
Yeah, Penn State's impressive.
Oh, I'm alone on Ohio State Island? Yeah, I'll take that.
You're taking
James Franklin's 1-9 against Ohio State.
Yeah, I know.
And his starting quarterback's hurt.
Yeah, that's true. I'll take Penn State. We'll take a break. Bold predictions when we come back to wrap up the show. I got to go to break.
Thank you to our Cornerstone television partners, OU Health, OG&E, Fowler Auto Group, and Coca-Cola.
Squirrel on the run. Now he's tackled. Well, he falls down at the 17, and I don't know. Maybe he's faking an injury here. Squirrel down at the 17.
I've never seen a squirrel do that.
Now he's up again. 15. He was playing dead. He's to the 10. He's to the 5. 1 man to beat, and he's into the end zone.
They're just directing him to the tunnel like this is an everyday thing.
That was fun. It's been a long season. Good to have fun moments like that. Air Comfort Solutions, your total home solution for plumbing, heating, air conditioning, and electrical. Make the winning call today. Hot takes to get us out of here. Josh, we start with you.
I'm going to go with the defense this time. I'm going to say we flip the script and reverse the roles this week, and we end up with 5 sacks from the defense.
5 plus sacks for the OU defense.
Sacks. Yes,
okay.
sir.
Gotcha. Gabe?
Jackson Arnold. What's the most yards he's thrown for this season?
238. That's close.
Let's go 300 then.
Jackson Arnold, 300-plus yards passing.
Yeah.
All right. I hit mine with Jacob Jordan getting a touchdown last week. I'm going to predict Jacob Jordan gets another touchdown this week.
Yeah,
I'm just going to keep riding it. I'm just going to keep riding number 88. I like it. So thanks for being here, fellas.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
Josh Norman, Gabe
Always
Eicher.
a pleasure.
Stick around, everybody. Brent Venables, Teddy Lehman coming up next. Hope you'll stick with us. Boomer Sooner, everybody.
The OU Huddle has been brought to you by Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, bringing you the best in real Texas barbecue. Walden Cleaners and Laundry, where the difference is quality. And by Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation on the Sooner Sports Network.